Calling all advocates. As we go into the final week of the 2015 legislative session, we caught up with legislative staff from the Florida League of Cities for updates on the priority issues adopted by municipalities across the state of Florida. First up, Sober Homes, House Bill 21, which creates a voluntary certification program for recovery residences, passed both chambers this week and is on the way to the governor for final action. We want to thank Senator Jeff Clements and Representative Bill Hager for their leadership on this issue.
As far as homelessness goes, HB 379 was filed. Unfortunately, it was never heard in the subcommittee that it was referred to first. Our Senate bill is SB 1500 by Senator Latvala. That bill has passed through multiple committees and is still in play at this point. I think that if we don't get our dedicated funding language, I still think that there will be an allocation in the budget for challenge grants, so that should be a benefit to cities. We look forward to working on this issue in the future, but I'd like to take some time to thank our committee chair, Mayor Willie Shaw from the City of Sarasota, and our Vice Chair, Dan Daly from the City of Coral Springs. Thank you and the rest of the members of the Urban Administration Committee for your hard work.
Next up, energy, environment, and natural resources.
We had two priorities this year, the first being stormwater fee funding. Unfortunately, that priority did not get off the ground. There was no appetite in either the House or the Senate to take that issue up, so we look forward to pursuing it again next year. Our second priority had to do with water quality and water quantity. Water quality and water quantity became quite an expansive topic discussed in the 2015 legislative session. There are a couple bills out there currently that would affect local governments and really affect only those local governments the most in terms of whether or not they have a first magnitude spring within their jurisdiction. The House Bill 7003, passed the first week of session. The Senate bill is Senate Bill 918 by Senator Dean. That is a 150-page comprehensive piece of water legislation. Currently, the House has amended recently House Bill 653 by Representative Pigman to include a large number of provisions found in Senate Bill 918 into that bill. There's a little bit of chess going on as we speak in terms of which bill will actually pass. I'd like to send a particular thank you to Commissioner Sarah Shaw, our Vice Chair from the City of Kissimmee, as well as our Chairman, who's done an excellent job leading our committee, Mayor Sam Henderson from the City of Gulfport.
The two legislative priorities for the Transportation and Intergovernmental Relations Legislative Policy Committee were transportation network companies and the regulation of them. These are services like Uber, Lyft, and Sidecar. Representative Gates filed a bill, HB 817, which regulated these services. His bill had preemption language in it that did not allow any local government authority to regulate these services whatsoever, so we couldn't do any business licensing or permitting. On the other hand, Senator Simmons filed SB 1298 in the Senate. This only addressed the insurance regulation of these services. So we're in support of Senator Simmons' legislation. Our second legislative priority was transportation funding, as there is a lack of alternatives for our local government to find new funding alternatives for transportation projects. Senator Brandes filed SB 1554, which is a transportation package, and in there they had a provision that required the Center for Transportation Research to conduct a pilot program and a study addressing alternatives for vehicle lane miles traveled as a transportation funding mechanism. We're in support of this language. However, it was supposed to be heard in Senate Appropriations last committee meeting, and they ran out of time, and the bill was not heard. However, we're looking for alternatives to amend it to other bills that are germane to this legislation in hopes that we can move this piece through.
Next up, enterprise zones.
The first priority dealt with enterprise zones. This year, unfortunately, the outcome for enterprise zones is not looking very good. The House has taken a position in House Bill 7067 that they would not continue the current enterprise zone program with state funding. They would replace it with a local enterprise zone program that would remove certain business regulatory hurdles to new businesses within zones. These would be optional and cities would not have to adopt them, but if they did, they would not be able to impose things such as impact fees or local business taxes on these businesses. On the Senate side, Senate Bill 1214 has taken some language dealing with enterprise zones in order to continue offering incentives to those businesses that have recently moved into enterprise zones since they've made the capital investment to locate into Florida and into these distressed areas. It would be the position of the Senate to continue these incentives for 3 years. The other priority that was adopted by the Growth Management and Economic Affairs Committee deals with developments of regional impact, or DRIs. Unfortunately, this year it's looking very likely that the House and Senate will pass language that would do away with the current DRI program. The position of our committee was to try to keep current law as it relates to DRIs. The bills that have been filed on this subject are House Bill 933 and Senate Bill 1216. Both of these bills would effectively end the current DRI program, and for future DRI-sized projects, they would follow the state coordinated review process. I wanted to thank my current chair, Vice Mayor Manny Sid of Miami Lakes, and Vice Chair Joyce Gilly-Gossam from Fort Walton Beach for all the hard work they've done in putting these two priorities together and advocating on behalf of cities, and all the committee members that were able to make it up to Tallahassee and advocate on these two issues. Thank you very much for all your hard work. It's very much appreciated.
The House and Senate continue to be in a stalemate on budget negotiations, with the most contentious issue being the $4.2 billion difference in federal health care funding. Most issues related to any sort of appropriation, including tax cuts, have been pulled into that stalemate. Senate Bill 110 by Senator Huckel contains a 3.6% reduction in the CST. This bill does include a hold harmless provision that will protect the potential impacts to municipal revenue sharing. The House has a larger tax cut package, House Bill 7141, which includes identical language. But as I said, both of those issues are tied up in the budget stalemate, so more to come on that. There is currently no legislation that has been filed that will reform or repeal the local business tax, so this continues to be on the good work you have done over many years regarding the importance of this revenue source. In regards to the local pension reform, the Senate took up Senate Bill 172 by Senators Ring and Bradley. They did amend the bill this week to move to the House position, which is slightly more favorable to cities, and then passed it out final. And finally, I would like to give a big thank you to the leadership of the Finance, Taxation, and Personnel Policy Committee. Mayor Harry Jennings from the City of Daytona Beach Shores and Commissioner Jim Norton from the City of Weston have done a tremendous amount in helping move forward the priorities of the league this year.
I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you that have come to Tallahassee during the 2015 legislative session for your advocacy efforts. You've been an integral part of helping to move the league's agenda forward here in Tallahassee. It's really important that you come to Tallahassee during the session and maintain relationships with your legislators throughout the year. You help put a real face on these abstract issues. You give them specific and concrete examples of how the bills will affect you and your cities specifically.
So come to Tallahassee, stop by the league office for a customized briefing, access to resources, or a place to rest between meetings. Remember, stay engaged. Your voice matters in Tallahassee.